What are they saying?
Like someone that is a good friend of a good friend who I always, I know that she's super left wing, but she was like, he was a horrible person. How do you know that?
Like, that's your fucking response?
And then then she was listing like specific things, which were obviously all out of context. She obviously had never listened to a video of his, but, uh, and then she was like, it makes me, and I kept saying I have nuanced views on, and there was no question. There was no, well, what do you believe? And then it was like, and then the response was, it makes me sad when people don't share my beliefs. And I thought that
Oh,
was a very honest response, but also highly problematic. Like,
it's also like, are you 6 years old?
yeah, yeah. I mean, this person is nearly 60. I think that there is something. I I think there is something really, really disturbing about being okay with someone being shot in the neck, basically on an assumption of what you were told he said, even if he said something that you disagreed with. I mean, even Bernie Sanders came out and was like, this is unacceptable. I just think, I, I don't know, it hit me really, really hard because my love of this country is rooted in free speech. Like,
I feel the exact same way. Like, it's, first of all, to just like casually be scrolling your phone and then just see someone get assassinated, just just starting there is extremely traumatic for all of us. Like, we're just looking at our feeds with no idea that we're about to watch somebody get shot in the neck. Imagine the people that are in the audience. Okay, it's fucking horrific. And then culture takes zero beats to process. Everyone has to have a immediate take or an immediate person to blame instead of just sitting in the discomfort and the horror of the grief of watching a murder in broad daylight. And people will say, well, what about the children? And what about this? This doesn't take away from other acts of violence. It's just a very prominent, loud experience.
yeah,
And I
all
think,
those are terrible too.
of
I just,
course,
uh, but he was such a good faith debater. But all of that aside, like he was a devoted father and husband. And you know, I'm, I'm, I'm really starting to feel into people's own familial or experiential trauma being projected onto public figures whom they do not know at all. Like,
yeah,
I am,
PTM. Like, if you're going to defend Charlie Kirk, you better put a bra on while you talk because all he wants is for women to like be, wives. And I'm like,
his wife
there's,
has like what millions of followers and like is an articulate speaker in her own right. And this is what's so crazy to me is that it's all this assumption based on ideology. Like, did you see Jeffree Stars? Do you know who that is? I didn't know who that is.
I loved that.
That was phenomenal to me. And I've seen more of that than the other. I've seen a lot of people saying this is these the celebration of this. But I just think, I don't know, like I love my dad and like he's flawed, but like he's a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old and we're
Like,
celebrating that? Charlie
immediately
Kirk. I,
my day was like, I was like calling Tyler like every second and like looking at Asher and sobbing. And I was just like, this is just, it's so precious and so special. And to be able to have a life together is such a gift. And like, you can tell that that family really valued family and they
that's
really,
what I feel like that is what is so, and like I'm a Jewish, childless, technically unmarried woman, and I am heartbroken
yeah.
for this family. Like, I don't understand why we seem to be unable to come out of our personal experience of what something is or someone is and have and experience profound empathy. Like I can I
I
I don't
think
know.
a lot of people do, and I
I
wanna,
think a
like
lot of people do. I think that's
I wanna,
true. And
like,
I
on that, and
Yeah.
and I think the bigger, scarier issue for many of the people who just have empathy, let's just start with that, is that we are witnessing and experiencing on multiple fronts, whether it's Charlie Kirk, whether it's censorship, whether it's people getting arrested in the UK, an assault on free expression and free speech. And I think we all don't really realize what that means.
No, and I think that's the thing. It's like, to me, it's an assault on the very essence, more than the rest of the West. Like, it is our First Amendment, and it is the cornerstone of everything that this nation was built upon. And this is the other thing. And I felt this for a long time, that the political obsession seems to be devoid of understanding of our actual Constitution and the legality of things. It's like people just, everything is emotion. Everything is, I just feel this way or feel
Yeah.
this way. And it's like, instead of looking at what if it were reversed, how would you feel? It's like people can, like, that's part of the problem. And that's part of, it's like, no, freedom of speech is essential, even when, and most importantly, when we disagree. Because what if we are on the other side of
That's
that?
the whole point. It's not it doesn't need to be protected if everybody agrees.
No, it's really crazy. And just having, like, lived in New Zealand, which has no, as I understand it, no actual free speech laws in the same way. It's not, that may be wrong in some, but I felt that
Right.
energetically, collectively there. And part of the reason I came running back to America was, no offense to Kiwis, was I was like, I am fundamentally American in my belief in the First Amendment and the Constitution. And it's arguably the most brilliant document ever written. But, like, it's crazy to me that that is considered a right wing view. So I'm supposed to hate my country. I'm supposed to hate the principles upon which this nation was built by religious refugees, by the way, Christian religious refugees. Like, I really, I find it really astounding. But I have this weird faith that there is a turning point here, that a line has been crossed.
Well, first of all, that's kind of hilarious because his thing was called
The
Turning
turning
Point.
I actually thought about that a lot yesterday. Yeah.
But I also do feel like a lot of see that I read this Free Press article where they were talking about two different things about how they were kind of blaming like the universities for creating this culture of acceptable people finding violence acceptable. And then they were also talking about how wait, I just totally lost my train of thought because I was thinking about universities being that way. But they were also talking about something that sorry, I fully just lost my train of thought that was like
Well, I will say that it seems like the killer, the assassin, was radicalized at university,
right.
as an example.
There's that, but then there's this also what was the other thing? Oh my god, I'm so upset that I fucking forgot it because that was more of the point of what I was God damn it. Anyways, um what did you just say right before I said that so that I can track it?
What did I say just before that? The Constitution. Like, am I supposed to hate America?
Right?
What did I say? You have pregnancy and I've been crying for 2 days. So between the two of us, I don't
Like,
know. Also, I love the sunglasses. It's very Jack Nicholson at the Knicks. I don't
well, I'm, like, constantly wearing my sunglasses inside and, like, watching TV because 'cause they're prescription, and I, like, forget, and so I'm just like, "You know what? Today's the day where I just take ownership of that completely."
know.
"Why are you watching Netflix with your sunglasses on?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm wearing my sunglasses." I don't even know.
Can you realize the, like, sepia
Like,
tone on everything?
I prefer it. It makes the world a better place. Um, anyways, fuck the article. Let me just reset of what I was saying. I'll just give my own take and not reference the article, which is that
Honey, it's okay.
so something that I find really disturbing is that so, like, you mentioned Bernie Sanders coming out, saying violence is never the answer. And, like, I actually talked about this. I recorded a longer, like, solo thing today. Oh, that was what I was gonna say, is, like, inspiring that the article was that saying that so them at the Free Press are afraid that people like them and like Charlie and like whoever will now shy away
Oh, like
from
with Charlie Hebdo. It's like what happened with Charlie Hebdo in
they
Paris.
reference
Yeah.
that exact. And so I think to take the opposite point of view and say, we're not going to do that. We're going to actually, all of us together, come together and fight harder and acknowledge the fragility of that being present and what would actually happen if that were lost. And like, I feel weirdly, obviously, I've been in this like bizarre grief portal of like,
Mhm.
it's all just so overwhelming and feeling this person that like you said, like I wasn't necessarily aligned with everything that he talked about. I wasn't
Why
like
do we even need to say that? Honestly, like,
um,
why is that even necessary?
because I felt that important. I feel like people need because no one's capable of not no one. I'm sure you guys that are listening are, but like I feel that it's a practice to speak this way because of how difficult people seem to what a difficult time people seem to have experiencing nuance that in order for my words to not be minced in any way at the practice to just say all of it, which is that like I could really, really appreciate his way of holding space for a multitude of views and
Yes.
joy. Like I was referencing today that this video that I watched of his when he was debating someone about abortion. And like, though I disagree that abortion should be illegal,
Mhm.
I because I don't believe in legislating human bodies. I agree that we are too frivolous possibility of abortion because this girl was like, well, if I was to get pregnant right now, like I would ruin my life. And he's like, well, then don't have reckless sex. And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, like there can be, and he was even saying, like, I'm debating this with logic, even though my religious views have a certain avenue. I'm also capable of separating that from how I am talking about how I believe this should be litigated, and it's like
Yeah.
to be able to have that level of nuance within himself should inspire all of us to be able to do the same thing. And like the reaction and the
Yeah.
emotionality brought to the table was more of a comment on them than it was a comment on him.
Yes, I actually, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, Barry Weiss interviewed her, and I'm not fully done with the interview, but she speaks to the specifics of this, and I don't have a law degree, but she speaks to the specifics of this in relation to her Catholic faith, and she actually quotes something in the Catholic faith related to this, and it's about Barry Weiss had asked her why she didn't recuse herself on Dobbs. And oh no, it wasn't on Dobbs. It was on a death penalty case. And there's something in, I guess, Catholic doctrine that's like if degree of closeness to the harm done, because she herself does not believe in the death penalty. But I don't care what you think of this woman. She has again, a brilliant legal mind. Like you can
Mhm.
just tell in listening to her in how thoughtful and how aware of the law and this is what I'm saying is like people are emotional, but she is someone our great, our justices should be able to separate their own emotion. And he was able to do that. And that's what is missing. And that's why I think beyond him being a father and a husband and a son and a friend and all these people that lost him, it's like that's what was shot in the neck, everything that he believed. And I think that as bringing it back as that being essential to my belief in what it means to be an American. And I think that's true. I think, our no offense to the French, but they tend to capitulate pretty easily to mob mentality. I think Americans overall, it's so embedded it that I think people will continue to, I think this is going to unleash a whole new level of people feeling freer to express views that are heterodox.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that I don't believe the person that they caught is really the person that did it. I'm like deep conspiracy on this.
Do you think it was foreign ops?
I don't know about that. For or inside, I could the call coming from inside the house, but I just think that
Well, I
it's
mean,
like
but it makes sense, right? I mean, like a student, that's who would have been most enamored with him or activated by him.
I guess, but it just seems like this random teenager is like a sharpshooter. Like he's shooting from over 200 yards away and he can hit him in the exact artery that kills him on
And
instant.
I'm
Like
getting this literally from movies, but it seems like those things have the like, every time I watch a movie about a sniper, it's like, I don't know, it doesn't seem as complicated as you would think. Like they can zero in. But I think that I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know. I, I mean, yes, it matters that the actual killer is held responsible.
but like they never are. Like look at JFK, look at RFK, look at MLK, like look at the most and I do feel in this weird way like this is akin to that of our
It's not a weird way. It is that, and it's the same level of turmoil in the collective, and especially among the student body, right? Like, and the youth.
like
I,
they always blame when because also like maybe this is just my algorithm but like a lot of his latest videos were him like questioning like deep state things and coming out and like pushing back on Israel, on Epstein, on all this other shit that I just feel like okay, this is what I was meditating on this morning.
Mhm.
The powers that be know that in order to maintain power, they need to manipulate a group of people. And maybe like to what you're saying, it's like, yeah, they manipulated a college student and then he fucking did this. Like, I see that too. But I think
Daniel's
that
first thought. Daniel's first thought was, "What girl was he trying to impress? That
Mhm.
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you what I know how to be a man. I know how to do the right thing for our country after being radicalized." I thought that was an interesting perspective.
I mean, there is the truth of that, of the way that the news media and the politicians, and this is the other thing that really came to me, do radicalize people through their
Yeah,
divisive and rhetoric. And so there's like two things that I kind of thought. One is like like they know that we are powerful.
yeah,
We can
always are.
if we could align, if we could open forum to unpack all these fucking conversations that are divisive and really get into the weeds, then it diffuses the power that holds us separate.
So, but okay, so that's one layer of perceiving it. The other layer is a more religious perspective, which is that would MLK have been as effective had he not been assassinated? Would Charlie Kirk's way of debating, will it carry on in a new way without him here? Is there a I'm in no way excusing any of this. I'm saying there is something interesting that there is a mythology and martyrdom that develops around the the concept is or the civil rights issue is. And so if you take it to the highest level, it's like, were these figures called home? Meaning to God, to the afterlife, et cetera. That's all, one's belief around all that that's going to be different. But
But I don't think, like, look at RFK Sr., for example.
Mhm.
I don't think that his killing martyred him to a
No,
point
that's not the kind of
actually.
JFK more, yes, but those were, uh they were actually running for office. But, probably Charlie Kirk very seems like he was on that track, but MLK or Charlie, these are figures. It's a different thing. It's of a different flavor. They were
But in
outside of the political
Kirk
system.
was challenging the system to the point where he was actually bringing people together specifically around race, and where, like, his work was stamped out, not furthered by him being killed. Like, I see the thing about the civil rights thing. I definitely feel like that he was elevated to a different status. A was. But when it came to RFK, it was like, which is kind of how I feel about Charlie Kirk, which is like they were taken before they could really physically uh disseminate their earth mission to the people that really
But
they need to reach fully.
y-
Like
yes, but
watching
they didn't do that. Like, meaning they were taken early. So it's like fighting against what I'm saying is, like, from a truer spiritual perspective, it's like, we don't know.
yeah,
We don't know. Is there, like, it can't be a la carte. Either one believes that there is a great cosmic design, that there is thing, or one doesn't. I'm saying that there is.
you think that? That's interesting to me because I don't think that. I think that
You think it's
there
a la
no, that there's a cosmic design, and that but the thing that is that thing that infringes upon the path of how that happens, like whether he's taken in this eclipse window or an eclipse window 20 years from now, like it might be that he has some karmic retribution in eclipses, for example, but that our free will individually and collectively is what creates the reflection of the cosmic design. Like,
I think it's both and, meaning
yeah.
I don't think it's formulaic. I think, but I think there is reason for things beyond mortal conception and understanding.
That I agree with.
And things happen, and when they have happened, you can fight with it. It's like, it's the stages of grief, right? You can bargain, you can go into denial, you can say, if this did, but it did happen. So it's like, how do you move forward from this moment with anything, right? It's like, and
And
that's what I'm getting at more so.
I feel like that's kind of the point that I want to make about, like, the Bernie Sanders of it all and all these people. Like, I saw Cory Booker and all these people who are people who sow division through their
Yeah,
language
yeah.
now coming out and being like, violence is never the answer. And I'm just like, you create violence every day by the words that you speak. And
Right, but
like,
what if I'm not saying this again, but what if accountability is taken and then there is a shift?
well, this is what I'm saying is that perhaps to your
Mhm,
point,
mhm,
this is the turning point. This is the moment, the watershed where people recognize
mhm.
by virtue of them doing that, they are creating the very thing that they say is not acceptable. And
Right.
that
Right,
makes me
yes.
fired up like, I probably just watched a video last week, Bernie last week, saying that RFK is ruining, like, the state of
Yeah, yeah,
America.
totally. I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that. Like, I watched this. I'm not on TikTok, but you know how people repost TikTok videos to X and Instagram? So I saw this video of this um PhD student in America.
Both, like, some millennials were like, you know how you can download a TikTok video and send it to
100%. I know. It's so embarrassing.
like TikTok thing?
I know. I have a 19-year-old niece, and it is really, like, wild to see the difference. Anyway, so there's a PhD student in American history, and she was speaking about, it's going to be really interesting, she was saying, over the next few days, to watch if those that celebrated are pushed to the sidelines, or if they gain legitimacy. And that will have that will tell us more about where things are going. And, it seems to me like I'm not talking about cancel culture stuff. I'm saying from civil society that there seems to be, by and large, I'm not talking about like pockets of real left, like Portland, Oregon, or whatever. I'm saying, like, in the collective, there seems to be even among those that lean left, an admonishment of celebration. And she was saying basically, if that mushrooms, if that becomes the overwhelming thought pattern, then they will be more relegated to the sidelines.
Right.
If they can find legitimacy and power in from the rest of the collective in their glee, that sets up a whole other trajectory. I thought it was just an it sounds kind of obvious, but it was an interesting perspective to look at it with.
I'm just fascinated by the impulse to celebrate something so vile. Like
I
it's
I don't I really this is what is going on? Like, why are we so divorced from our humanity? I just don't even I, I really don't understand it. And I think because when you constantly call someone a Nazi, also, what does that mean today?
true.
Nazis put my ancestors in an oven. So is like that's just like that's what they think he was?
Clearly he was a Christian man with like a lot of like he's not a fucking Nazi. Like it's very clear that he's not a Nazi. I think like the dehumanization thing is I don't know. I feel like it's because nobody's really paying attention and everyone, like you said in the beginning, is just kind of getting a hot take off of like a soundbite. And there's just so much like noise in that way that it's just so easy to say. Like my brother was even like, he sucked. And I'm like, that's a really horrible reaction. He's like, I mean, I didn't think he deserved to die, but he did suck. And I'm like, "W- still, what you're saying is cruel.
Did you see the Stephen King thing? Like on
No.
X, he posted he said Charlie Kirk supported stoning gays, and he got such pushback, like
Yeah.
actually posting the video, and he has apologized multiple times. I was wrong. He did not say that. That was not at all what he was saying. He was using that as an example of how people cherry pick things from the Bible. And so this is the thing. It's like when everything is, oh, I heard, or instead of sitting and actually watching. Do you remember
Right.
well, I remember in AP US history, there was something called like DBQ, like document based. Like we had to look at the original document, not interpretations of the original document, but the
Right.
original document. And like, this is what I'm very worried about in kids and education is like nothing seems to be primary source. It seems to be all oh, well, this person wrote about this and this is what they said. So this is the truth rather than experiencing it firsthand for oneself.
Yeah.
And that I don't know. I don't have kids in school right now. I should ask my niece um, what her experience of that is. But I feel that we have really lost that connection to primary source material and the whole fucking thing. I'm not talking about a pull quote. I'm saying read the whole fucking thing. And it's like the number of people who have hot takes but haven't read a 25-page article ever,
Yeah.
right? Or haven't actually read the Constitution
Yeah.
and the amendments. It's like when people say, I'm going to get such fire for it. If people are like, this group doesn't have rights, but human rights are all rights.
Yeah.
And that is the thing. Like, I don't feel, as a woman, I have equal rights under the law. I don't know why people think I don't. I
Yeah.
have a credit card in my name. I have a business in my name. I own my own house.
Yeah.
I'm oppressed.
I mean, it's just the oppression that we put on each other.
But also the idea, but this obsession of like self-victimization, and
Self
that nothing is personal responsibility. Everything is something or someone else's fault. And it's like, this is why I think 12 step is so effective for those that are in any branch of it, is because there is an element of personal responsibility.
Yeah, it's all about inventory and accountability.
Yes. And that, I mean, I think that's the thing. And I think that's,
And living amends. So it goes every step of the way. You have to continuously take responsibility for your action.
again and again and again. And I think, you know, one of the things that is one of the things that is problematic is teaching a student they have no, or a young person, they have no agency in their life. All the cards are stacked against you. You can't make any headway. Uh, how is anyone going to feel empowered to create the life that they want, which requires hard work? I know that that's not cool to say, but like, why is why are we not encouraging personal responsibility? And I think that's the thing that,
Yes,
like,
you have personal responsibility that you teach, then there's no one to blame.
I know. Am I the only one here? Are you there? Wait, is that me? Wait, wait, am I only here or is Steph here? Wait, hold on. Wait. What happened? Oh, I'm here? Okay. I don't know where Steph went. Anybody have any questions for me while I'm here? Hi, Kaylee. Anybody? Steph, I wonder what happened. Hi, Bubs. Only me. Should we talk about these eclipses? Um, it's going to be really interesting, I think, between now and March, because in March we have another set of eclipses. Yeah, I know it's been heavy. We have another set of eclipses, and by then Saturn and Neptune will be in Aries. But those eclipses are February 17th, which is actually starts the Aquarius Leo eclipse season series, and then uh, we have a Virgo eclipse on March 3rd. Oh, my own media diet. I really try and take in all viewpoints from far left to far right, just so I have a sense of the collective. I try and read long form journalism as much as I can. I do really like the free press because I think at least there is an approach to classic liberalism that, and by what I mean by that is a real kind of inquiry and a real um exploration of something through the lens of like post enlightenment Western civilization. So I tend to